You're viewing a picture of a white owl. When you're dealing with metaphysics, the mysteries of the kingdom that Jesus talks about in Matthew chapter 13, you deal with animal messages. And they can come any way, shape, or form. They can come in dreams or just any type of way at any given time. Months ago, I'll pretty much say many months ago, maybe 6 to 7 months ago, definitely at least 6 months ago, was probably still 2018. Out of nowhere, in a certain section in the store I work in, they begin bringing in metaphysical books such as the divine feminine, the feminine goddess, the goddesses, and they begin to bring in these white porcelain owls. So I would always go over to that section and fix it up. Because when they first did it, they just laid everything there, but I would fix it up in honor of the divine feminine. And with the owls, I knew that was a very metaphysical area. And this is at the same time I'm working at the job with my twin flame, not twins, but my soulmate that worked there. Now, if you're keeping up with the recent videos, she came back even yesterday because some more stuff went down. This is why I'm bringing this out. And one of these videos should have been uploaded, but as always, they're playing games with it. Just letting it sit there, even though really should have been uploaded literally three hours ago. Now, finally, they let it go. So it's going to be called Esoteric God, Human Hell 2019. A lot of information in that. They didn't like I had human family. I had esoteric God, human family. I guess they didn't like that human family word because they thought, see, they're worried about backlash. So I went and took that word out, and then about 10 to 15 minutes after I took the word out, they finally passed the video. So give me 1 second. I gotta do a couple of things. So a lot of information is there. So like I said, if you've been listening to what's going on, there's a lot of stuff going on. Whenever I do readings, they kept telling me about this female I work with and working with her definitely over a year. And they kind of warned me it's going to become different with her, and it did at the moment, but it was so much that went down. So you would have to check that video because it'd be stupid for me to repeat it again when I've already talked about it in the videos. But like I said, this is one. So that video is essential. Esoteric God, Human Hell 2019. Because a lot of people don't understand these things. And what they tend to do is separate everything. And that's why they stay confused and divided. And most people are selfish. So all they want to know is how does this pertain to me? What about mine? What about me? And they never get it. So they'll literally go through decades of BS in their life because they don't understand everything. So that video does explain it. So where I work at, you could see a lot because you see a lot of people coming in and coming out. And like I say, where I work at, there are special spots that are highly mystical and highly esoterical, or connecting you to whatever. And just strange shit that it goes on and goes on, and it may take you literally a few days to figure it out, or something else happens, has to happen to remind you that this was not just a typical person or typical situation. So you'll see this a lot. You'll actually see it. You know, people coming out of nowhere, just strange ass shit. Like, there's some strange ass shit. Uh, I see a lot of this, but one example was a old lady. Now, when you see me where I work at, I walk through the whole store for a whole lot of different reasons. Because that's, like I said, that's how I was trained when I was younger. Things are a lot different now, but I'm worrying about, whatever my goals and agendas are that the employer gives me. But also, I just worry about just everything, what's going on outside, because that's just how I was trained. You have to be aware because your job on the clock. This is how I was trained. You're being paid by whoever to make sure shit runs swiftly. In other words, let's just say you work in a fast food restaurant and you see a tray on the floor. Let's just say you're typical like everybody else and says, well, fuck it. It's not my job. I'm not even really assigned to the dining room right now. I don't care. So you just keep it moving. Then somebody slips on it and then they're showing their location. Now, that's going to affect you one way or another. All the drama, people coming and going, people asking questions. And then if you go looking for some type of raise, they may let you know, well, we at this time we don't have it because now they're paying some lawsuit. So that's why I said again, that's how Spider-Man became Spider-Man, because he said, "Fuck it, it doesn't pertain to me. I got these superpowers. I'm gonna use it to make money." And this guy just robbed somebody, and he's running past me, and the man is telling me to stop this guy. I don't know this guy. This guy's got a gun. Why should I get involved? Yeah, I got superpowers. I probably could stop this guy. But why? What am I getting out of it? Same thing these idiots ask out about. What about me? What about mine? Me, 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 me. And I keep trying to teach you all this stuff is one. And that's why they tell you karma. You fail to do what you were supposed to here. Now this is going to happen to you or your children or whoever else around. Because that's how the universe really works. So Spider-Man didn't stop the guy. And later on that night or later on that week, he finds out his Uncle Ben had just been shot to death by a burglar that had a gun. So now he's using his superpowers to find this guy. That's really what made him really become Spider-Man. Because now he wants to find out who this guy was. I'm going to get the guy that got my uncle, and bet he's going to pay. Now he's making all this stuff like webs and all this stuff, trying to get around the city faster and find this guy. And he used to have like he used to listen to like a police radio, I think. So that's how he knew where the guy was at. The police had him at this warehouse. So the police couldn't get in because the guy had the place bombarded. But he could get in because he was Spider-Man. He just came up top, came in, was beating the guy up. And as he was beating the guy up, he realized that's the same guy that ran past him. So had he stopped that guy back then, Uncle Ben would still be alive. So he actually blamed himself for his Uncle Ben's death. And that's where they came up with the phrase, with great power comes great responsibility. So from then on, he was forever going to be a hero, Spider-Man. Now, ironically, when the Green Goblin killed Gwen Stacy, the same thing. Issue 122 of Spider-Man, he's beating the Green Goblin down, and it's in a warehouse again. It's one of the Green Goblin's warehouses, because Green Goblin was Norman Osborn, and he was very rich. He had a lot of warehouses throughout the city. So all this stuff with Peter Parker and warehouses, and that can really fuck your mind up. But it's all esoteric. It's all a reason for everything. Like I just told you, there's certain spots in that store where stuff happens. Just like in this neighborhood. Certain spots in this neighborhood where you see stuff and stuff like that. That's paranormal. And that's why that video that's called Esoteric God, Human Hell 2018 is essential. is essential. Because that's how it's really going. Otherwise, what you have is a bunch of people that don't know shit that want to act like they do. But Matthew chapter 7 tells you all that fake belief and all that fake shit and all that selfishness. On that day, that's we're nearing, all that shit goes down into the depths of hell. And then we're going to find out those people didn't know anything but self-destruction. Selfishness, vanity is going to lead to your own personal self-destruction. That's a fact. It's a universal fact. So now, a unique woman. So one of these cases, but I see a lot of this. Like it's an old lady walking through the store. Like, so I'm walking through the store and I notice everything. So I see a cart just sitting there. Now I always put the carts back where they come from, because again, even a job I tried to get years ago, and they made you watch all these videos, and they told you, this was like it's a very elaborate bagel shop, but they sell more than bagels. But at the end of the day, it really is like a bread shop. Some of y'all might know what I'm talking about, who I'm talking about. So the first thing they do when they hire you, you got to watch these videos, and that's one thing they tried to tell you: keep things in order, because that's how things happen. So you should be able to look anywhere, and everything should look the same way. It should be symmetrical. Because when you start to see stuff out of place, there may be a reason. That's how you know something ain't right. That's how I was trained a long time ago, decades ago. Especially like in any type of where a lot of people coming in and out. So it shouldn't be no carts in the back if they're not supposed to be there. Doors should be kept closed. Anything, because that's how you catch shit immediately. Why is that door back there open? Who's back there? Who opened that door? Nobody knows who opened that door. Your next move better be 911, because you don't know who's back there. So that's what I do. I just walk around and I make sure everything's lined up correctly and stuff like that. Now, one time it was a cart in the most strangest spot. So I wonder, why is this cart here? So as I start to walk up to that cart, it's this little old lady, like a older lady or whatever, with the cart. But ain't nothing in the cart. Now right away y'all say, well, maybe she just started shopping, or of course she's gonna make 1,000 excuses. So I'm going about my day. Like once I see that somebody's using a cart, I just mind my business. I don't say nothing to her or nothing, but I just mind my business. But so this little old lady is just going through the whole store, but never putting anything in the cart. And that store, it's not a huge store, but it's pretty big. It's a nice size. It's a nice size store, especially for a little old lady. So she ain't putting nothing in the cart, but I'm not watching her. I'm just doing my job. But see, what I'm trying to tell y'all is this is metaphysical. It has nothing to do with me thinking, what is she doing? Is she a crook? Or that's not what I'm doing. But I already know it's just something, because it's just some weird ass shit. But I see this stuff all the time. So now, watched her go down all these aisles, never put nothing in that cart. So now I have to go up to checkout, because now we're starting to increase with people at checkout. So now we need 2 spots open to deal with all these people. Now, keep in mind, before that it was extremely quiet. Not too much going on, but now it's picking up. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Now, the second spot was where I was at. Somebody's always at the first spot, but not the second. The second is only for when it starts to pick up. But there are blind spots at the second spot. Now, at the exact moment, now I need y'all to hear what I'm saying, because I know I'm doing a lot of talking and people just ain't listening. At the exact moment that it picks up, and now it's time to pick up business, out of nowhere, that little old lady comes out of that blind spot and starts asking me some stupid ass questions. Okay, here's the deal. You had all fucking whatever to ask them questions. You've been up and down, you've been up and down. Why at the exact moment? Worse, where the fuck did she come from? Second off, right at the exact moment, I'm getting ready to go into my mode because we got to get this line out. We got to get this line under control. Because if not, you will have a line all the way back through the back of the store if you're not sharp. But at that exact moment, first off, how did she get up there that fast? I didn't see her. Like I said, a blind spot. Also, the moment I turn to get ready to address the person that's in front of me, she just cuts and comes out of nowhere. But I see this shit all the time. So anybody thinking, oh, whatever, you're not listening. This shit happens all the time. If you think that shit is not planned by somebody or whatever, this is what Non-Nania tries to tell you. The same shit when she talks about TI shit. It's a different form of a TI, but it's still TI. Somebody's planning this shit. And they told you that in the Matrix, if you were listening. Now, but even sometimes these people have questions. I mean, some of the questions they're asking you are for a reason. This is going back to what I said about messages, and they come any type of way. But sometimes you're too caught up with your own things you got to get done that you don't have time for these messages. So sometimes when the universe really wants you to know it, they'll keep sending it, or they'll send it a different way. So I had to give you the background so you'll understand what I'm trying to tell you about the White Owl. So we had another strange female that was in there, and she must have stopped me and asked me a couple of questions. But it was just like, when I say strange, I mean really like strange. Like even her mannerism, the way she was talking real low, but these are all how you know these are messages. And this happens a lot. So I think I forget exactly how it went down, but I know she had made purchases or something, and we thought she was done. She went out the door, and then when I came back in, she was back in again. So this is how it's just something unique there's something about this person. And I'm talking highly metaphysical. So one of those times, I forget if it was her first time or her second time, I don't remember. But she came up, she had 2 items. Well, she had 3 items. 2 items and a third. But a third was that porcelain white owl. Now we had 3 of them. So then she wanted it, but it had I couldn't screw it. Anybody that knows what I'm talking about, you got to scan the SKU. And that's the number that they know how. So it didn't have a SKU, so of course I had to use my equipment to try to find out, because I couldn't leave my post and try to go to the counter. Plus, it may not, you'd be wasting time because it may still not even be on the shelf. You're trying to go to the shelf to see how much, but it may not even be on there. So you just ask somebody. So the person responded, just say $5. So immediately the woman said it didn't say $5 on the shelf. So that's when I responded back and said, she's saying it didn't say $5 on the shelf. So then the person, okay, just wait. They were like, just wait, I'll get the scoop. He said it's probably $4.96, but get the scoop. But what I'm trying to tell you, say, well, $4.96, $5, what's the big deal? But somebody will say, well, it is a big deal because it's my money. And I'm not arguing about that. But I'm just trying to tell y'all this is the weird stuff that's going on to let you know. Like, even if you research that number $4.96, it's probably a reason for that. Because when you're dealing with $4.96, you're dealing with multiples of 4 and or 9. If I'm not mistaken. Yep, because 4 and 20 is 80, 22, 88, 23, 92, and then you got your 90, 24, 96. So that's the reason why that number came out like that. 496. So now, so I noticed all that, but I minded my own business. But again, on Yahoo search, that white owl that you're looking at popped up. So I know it was a message then, So there's a white owl message. See, a lot of people say stuff about owls. They say, oh, these owls are evil, and owls are associated with people that get abducted by UFOs and stuff like that. And I like I said, I just heard that recently. I honestly don't know. But either way, what I'm going to do now is read this. The purpose of this video is read what they say about the white owl. I got this from reference.com. What is the spiritual meaning of the white owl? So, in mythology, the white owl appears as messenger of the gods or messenger of the underworld. Now, when you talk about the underworld, you're talking about the divine womb, the bottomless pit of the Bible, the well of the Bible, the hollow, like Halloween, the hollow. You're also dealing with Pluto, planet Pluto, which right now is with Saturn up in the sky at night after 9:30. You can see Saturn, but Pluto's around there as well. You just don't see Pluto. And it's the underworld or hell or Hades. Now again, I just did a video on hell for 2019. The white owl can also be present as a spirit animal, appearing in dreams or everyday life as a sign of things to come. Now I'm going to repeat this. Keep in mind, I'm having all these soulmate strange stuff with the females at my job. But it's all going on at the job. Either present employees or past employee that keeps coming back. Not working for the company, but still being in the same business center. She used to run that department. So she's always in there still now doing her whatever personal stuff. But she's no longer being paid by the company. As a spirit animal, the white owl represents an ability to see past deceit and illusion. Now, why is that important? Because right now in your eastern skies at night, I'm seeing more activity in the eastern sky than I've seen in a long time. But Vega has been talking to me a lot. And Vega is about that person that's very deceitful, possibly even violent. And a lot of times it can be a female. So deceit and illusion. It also gives guidance during confusing times and grants the ability to see that which may be hidden to others, including other people's true motives. So again, it's a lot going on with my twin flame. The former soulmate keeps coming back because she used to come in my dreams and everything. And she was supposed to be so true and so whatever. And then it's another female that just out of nowhere came. Then online it was some female that contacted me and saying stuff about I'm loyalty. Don't know where the hell she went. So this is why I'm only saying what's really going on. And this is why, like I said, if you ever plan on being stable, the best you can be in this world, you have to deal with facts. You can't be in fantasy island and this and that. And this is what this white owl is saying. So if the white owl happens to be your spirit animal or power animal, keep in mind that the white owl is an animal that can see in the dark. This ability transfers spiritually to users, allowing them to see what beyond what others perceive. Well, that's what that video was about that I just said, Esoteric God, Human Hell. So now we're getting to more information. In the Celtic mythology, the owl is associated with the crone. Now, the crone is the final stage of the divine feminine. You have the young girl or teenager, you have the woman, And the final stage is the crone, or an older woman. So that is the third stage, third and final stage of the goddess, the crone personality. So the owl will guide you through the underworld. So if an owl appears in your window, it is seen as an omen of impending danger or death of a friend or loved one. And that's interesting because I got information recently, and the family didn't want to have nothing to do with it. But that's why I wrote that. That's why I did that video about esoteric God, human hell. But it actually said human family hell. But they held that video up for hours until I took family out of it. Then all of a sudden they passed it. If someone in the house was ill, it is believed that the owl was there to carry the soul into the underworld after death. So in Greek mythology, the white owl is associated with the goddess Athena. Ancient Romans believed that one would tell all of their secrets if the feather of an owl was placed on their pillow while sleeping. Oh, that's interesting. All right, this is interesting. So now I'm looking up Athena and the cosmic mind. This is coming from Wikipedia. Athena was a child of Zeus and Metis. Metis is the goddess of divine wisdom. Fearful that his wife Hera would be jealous of Metis, Zeus transformed Metis into a fly and swallowed her. Now it's funny because just yesterday I came outside to the parking lot and there was dragonflies all around me, and they will fly up on you. They'll fly right to your face. But the key to dragonflies is just don't show no fear, but they will fly up on you. However, and they're also very metaphysical and esoteric insects. However, Athena had already been conceived. So remember, Zeus swallowed Metis. He turned her into a fly and swallowed her to hide her from his wife Hera. And Athena was already conceived. So within a few months, Athena emerged out of Zeus's head as a fully grown woman of wisdom. That's just weird. But see, I keep trying to tell y'all, like a lot of people don't want to listen to this, but this is the whole father-daughter aspect. Even if you listen to that video where I say God esoteric, I show you the mother, son, wife whole thing throughout history. Because people don't want to put the two. Like, people want to pick and choose what they believe, but that's how you get destroyed. You can't pick and choose what you believe. You're in a universe that's run a certain way, but you've been allowed to believe a lot of crazy shit because you happen to be under a certain power that's lying to you, because they know they're sending you to hell. That's why they use words like democracy and demon and all that. But people want freedom so much to do what they want that they willfully forsake their soul, willfully forsake. Just like Adam and Eve did the same thing, willfully give it up. But once you give it up, it will be difficult to get it back. You may not get it back. You'll be burning in hell for eternity. In Theosophy, the birth of Athena takes a more esoteric approach. So Athena is born by thought, but y'all got to remember who thought is. as the manifestation of the cosmic mind. Through the creative powers of cosmic ideation, Zeus is believed to have used the conscious of the cosmic mind to manifest wisdom itself in the form of Athena. So I always knew that Athena was a goddess of war, but I didn't know she was this mental. So this person's name is Alvin Boyd Kong. He says that the sons of God were mind born. But remember, the sons of God all answer to Thoth. Even Louis J. Armstrong tells you that. And also the asteroid called Pallas is connected to Athena. Now why is Pallas important? Because it has to do with soulmates. Now remember, we got here because of the owl and the owl's connection to Athena and the underworld. Now remember, Pallas on your natal chart is the asteroid that deals with soulmates. And I just got finished telling you, I've been having all these soulmate experiences at my job with people that work there or used to work there, but keep coming back for whatever reason. The myth of the generation of Pallas Athena, goddess of wisdom, directly from the forehead of Jove, carries the same connotation. So the father produces his mental children directly from his brain alone. The concept of cosmic mind extends beyond Athena's conception and into the exoterical world of man. As Athena was seen as a divine manifestation, men are manifestations of the higher mind as well. And remember, Theosophy is that woman H.P. Blavatsky, and she's the woman that people like Adolf Hitler studied, and she helped. Her teachings helped give birth to the Nazis and all that eventually became World War II. See, there's even a goddess named Neitha, Neitha, but that's the underworld. Anything with neither, that's the underworld. And they even mention Sophia. So, like I said, this was the first time I learned tonight that Athena has a connection to Thoth, and Thoth is thought. So now they say, and according to Charles, I told you, and that was the guy that showed up right at that moment. That's my friend Charles, or Chucky, from years ago. And right at the moment that female started to act a certain way, because I was warned 3 weeks in advance that it was going to be a situation with her. Up until then, me and her never had no situation like that. But that day, last Saturday just passed, and the moment that situation began to get the when I say heat, I mean like gossipy type shit, not any type of passion heat, but gossipy type heat, like he said, she said bullshit. The moment that heat began to increase, Chucky showed up out of nowhere. And his name is Charles, C-H-A, and her name also starts with C-H-A. According to Charles Webster Leadbeater, Athena is an anthropomorphical deity. Anthropomorphical. So let's get there. Let's find out what that word means. Keep in mind, up until now, all Athena was to me was always a warrior goddess. Now you find out all the stuff with her connection to Thoth and all the stuff you never knew. So anthropomorphical would be a deity with human attributes. Athena personifies, and remember her whole name is Pallas Athena. She is personified into a determined and resolute leader. And she governs with intellectual detachment. Pallas Athena, the gray-eyed goddess of wisdom, was a magnificent and splendid being who practically governed Athens in the old days through her devotees. Her influence was enormously stimulating, but she was not so much an embodiment of compassion or of love. Whereas the Blessed Virgin Mary is an embodiment of compassion, of love, Pallas Athena wasn't like that. Pallas Athena was more concerned about efficiency, perfect accuracy. She said there was basically no emotion connected with Pallas Athene. And even in the soulmate, Pallas represents the more mature soulmate. Like Pallas is the soulmate saying, "Why are we together? What house am I in? What are we supposed to be doing in this house?" And it'll be the soulmate that really wants to meet whatever you're supposed to be doing. So in some ways, Pallas in your natal chart is a little bit like Saturn because they're trying to make you fit whatever the expectation is for that particular house. So they're saying Pallas Athena really would not be the person you would go to for personal affection, but she would give you efficiency. So Pallas Athene or Athena kept Athens in perfect order, directing it, governing it, brooding over her people with her wonderful inspiration, and she watched the development of her city with the closest interest, determined that it should be ahead of Sparta and Corinth and the other cities of Greece. So again, it went all the way from the White Owl to Pallas Athene. And the equivalent of Zeus is Jupiter, who is in the sky a lot. And I've been having a lot of weird shit going on with Jupiter at night. Just weird shit. That day, and you know I usually talk about everything. I haven't even talked about it. It's been so weird I haven't even talked about it. Zeus is the Greek god of the sky and thunder, king of the gods. And again, the thunder god again is Thoth or Thought. Is Thor, like Thor, Thoth, Thought. All right. So now, because I really went out of. So the White Owl is warning you that somebody may not be sincere, or even if they are sincere, there might be something wrong with lack of passion. Might even be a message to consider. Cause like I said, the day when I seen that, that's how she was. When I saw the soulmate that used to work there, but she doesn't work there no more, but she's always back in the store, cause she always goes back to the center to get her personal stuff done. That's how she was. She really didn't respond to me at all. And I was trying my best to get her attention. She would look at me. She just wouldn't respond. But then when she saw the ball, she walked up and then started speaking to everybody. But she still didn't speak to me. And then it wasn't until she was about to leave the store but I had been trying to speak to her. So it wasn't like I had an attitude. I didn't have no attitude. She was the one acting crazy. But having studied what I just studied, I could kind of see why. Because it was like after I spoke, then she kind of tried to have a conversation with me. But I still was busy, so I wasn't trying to have no conversation when I was just saying hello. Now this is called Everyday No White Owl Meaning. I just thought we need to study it just a little bit more. So it says the white owl meaning is unique to different parts of the world and different cultures. It can mean wisdom and intelligence. It sees what other people can't. And they say that the owl can also shapeshift. They said a white owl can shapeshift and become human. Now remember they said that about Athene, Pallas Athene. She's really like thought, but she can morph into being what looks human. So the white owl is connected to the night and the moon, and we always talk about the moon here. And remember, all this is going on under a new moon. The owl can mean death, literal death or metaphoric death. It can also mean the end of one cycle of life and the transformation to another, a new beginning. And like I said, we are under a new moon, and that's what it means. And we just pulled the death card. I believe that 3-card tarot is right here on this channel where the death card did get pulled. And that's basically what I was trying to tell you. It was kind of like saying it's a death in the love sector, but in the work sector, I think they imply like a newer beginning with the Pope and the Lover's card in a work position and the Pope in a emotional position. But in a love position, it was a Death card. So it seems to me like the owl was trying to tell me the same thing Vega was. It was some deception. That might be the twin flame. But he may be applying that to somebody at the work location or coming to the work location that's a little bit more reliable. Now, who that person is, we don't know. Even if it's real, you just don't know. Sometimes you just gotta wait to see. In the Native American culture, the owl is called the night eagle. So the owl is a beautiful, mystical animal. So they say if you see a white owl in real life, that means you need to start moving on. Move on and take risk. Let go of your fears. So that the white owl is telling you you're ready. Don't be afraid. You're ready. So the owl totem represents wisdom and intuition. It can represent a change or life transition. The white owl is a meaning of psychic ability, clarity, family, sacrifice, illumination. It indicates a prophecy of some type, or it represents a prophecy or some type of fulfillment. It's a sign of fresh starts, new beginnings, and the need to move forward in life. White is the color of light, purity, and innocence. It can represent illumination, heaven, perfection, spirituality, and protection. So this is showing you wisdom, prophecy, fulfillment, greatness. So again, you would still need more, more, but you can always ask the universe for more clarity. Because there seems to be a theme, but it's just too much going on to know who or what they're talking about, or what the heck is going on. And like you have to be careful, because like I said, this female, where all this stuff happened around her, almost, we've never had no type of contact like that. That's why you've never heard me talk about her. So just because all of a sudden the universe is kind of bringing her to your radar, that doesn't mean jack, because you may try to talk to her and she might say that's harassment, because that's happened before. Even though my twin was the one harassing me, but still I got in trouble for it. So you just have to be careful. But I wanted to talk about that white owl because it came out of nowhere, and like I said, let's look at the number 496 since that was a big deal. You could try esoteric numerology, but I doubt if. See, like I said, they'll answer an angel number, but I really want let me just see. I'm gonna try. I doubt if. Because they should really have a chart online by now. All right. Just bear with me. It won't be too much longer. All right. I'm gonna open up one of my Word documents. I haven't used this particular website for a while. I could always use Gematria, but sometimes I just don't want to. Just depends. All right, I haven't been here in a while. Trying to find it. Here he is. Alright, we're here. I just have to find 496. Reproach, Leviathan, a serpent, crocodile, sea monster. This is Bill Hydrich. He does a form of Grimatra as well. Kingdom, the name of the 10th Sarira, Malkuk. Union of the whole body of Adam, Quadman. But then it says, although some say to the anus, royal consort or wives of a king who were of royal birth, reign, a kingdom realm, royal, royal state, his precepts. So, got some with Leviathan, serpent, crocodile, sea monster, but reptilian, if you want to say serpent. So you got to remember your pharaohs, and they had the serpents on their head. See, we're talking about past life stuff. And they say, where did Adam get his wife from? Some of y'all might have heard that. And then they finally tell you who she was. Because when they go listen to this, royal consorts or wives of a king. So this is royalty. Royal consorts or wives of a king who were born, no, who were of royal birth. But it's a lot being said there. You just got to pick it up. And you got to remember what they told you about where a theme came from. All right, so I got one more thing I want to check out before I can personally end. All right, I got to see this. So somehow this popped up Ted Bundy's wife and daughter. What happened to them? See, because the reason why this is important, because like I said, Thomas More is connected to a lot of shit, and he sent me something recently that, in my opinion, is on this line. See, I'm going by everything that's being shown. Plus, I'm going by what I told y'all a long time ago when I first started working here a year ago. See, this is a return right now. It's almost it's 1 year since I started working there, and I was basically told about that female that showed up. And to me, that kind of explains why she was acting the way she was. So let me look at it one more time. 496. Alright, what just happened? So it says Tree of Life, 10th Sephiroth, Kabbalah. So they tell you what it is. Alright, so here now this is something. So that 496 was definitely a message because it's saying the same thing. It's an ending. The 10th Sapphira. The material world where all events play out. Now it's funny because I talk about all this on that video, Esoteric God, Human Health, 2019. So the 10th Sapphira, this 496 in Gematria, is where everything plays out in the material world. Like it's really going on in the unseen world or the spiritual world, but it's all being played out here, making the material world the stage. But it's the end that precedes the beginning. So that goes back to the 3-card tarot. And I told y'all when I did it, it's telling you that the whole love thing is over with. And the Pope is making sure that Taurus energy, the Hierophant, is making sure that it's pretty much over with. But in the work sector, it's something beginning. And I believe that's what it had. It has a star card. No, the Pope and the Lover's card. So they're talking about fallen angels, just like I told you. I told you these people that are on planet Earth that the Bible calls Hebrews, biblically they're fallen angels. And that's what they're saying. Now this information I'm getting from Quora.com, www.quora.com. Remember, if you're going to go Quora, it's also like play on words for Quran. What does the Sapphira of Melkach, Malcuh, mean? So it's telling you this the 10th Sapphira is Melkach, Malkuth. Like y'all heard of Melchizedek? See my point? See, you gotta know all this stuff. Because if you don't understand what's going on. But I'm telling you, it's all one. So Melchizedek is the formation of these fallen angels going back up to where they came from. But they can't go back up to what? The 400 years of oppression on the planet. So 496, 4 and 9 is 13, becomes 4. Then 4 and 6 is 10, or the ending, but it becomes 1, which is the new beginning. So when you get to the 10th Sapphira, you're at Melkach. You're at the hardened, grossest state, which is matter. Because once everything gets in the physical world, you got egos, you got lust, you got it all. Everything we see in the physical world. So they're saying that the first Sapphira is limitless light, like eternal light, like angelic. But by the time you get to the 10th Melkach, that's it. This is matter, it's gross. See, it's the end. But now you got to get ready and go back to the beginning. So that's the Alpha and Omega. birth, death, and all that. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is, what the owl is showing you is the connection between you and your twin soul, because that it's all part of the beginning and the end. What you separated from, you got to go back to and become one again. He says essentially, even in the darkest, coldest, hardest hardness of matter, all recombines back too late in the end. So that's what he says the Kabbalah teaches. But the Bible gives the implication that based on certain situations. But again, they do tell you that Jesus Christ is late. So even that Jesus Christ is late may actually symbolize all of these spirit light that became matter going back up. Because a lot of people do teach that. And then now you know that Melchizedek is probably Melkach, which is again this angelic light that came down into the physical world. But nobody knows where it came from and nobody knows where it went. So again, it's all how you read it. And I'll leave it at that. But it's interesting. But if you believe that the Bible is really just pointing you to all of this, like the Kabbalah and stuff, then you're going to have a different understanding. If you believe the Bible is telling you the truth, then you're going to believe that there is a hell and everybody ain't going to go back up because it's based on whether they have repented and accepted the Messiah and yada, 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 yada. But what he's trying to tell you is the Messiah just represents all these angels, the light. And you kind of see that in John chapter 1 when the Messiah says the angels will ascend and descend to the Son of Man. And then he says it again in John chapter 3 when he says the Son of Man will be lifted up. But he's also talking about serpents. And we know that those serpents represent fallen angels. That's why your Egyptians was wearing serpents on their crowns and stuff like that. Because those serpents are the reptilian or the Leviathan and all that stuff. That's why even Moses was called the Levite priest. That's all Leviathan. So it's interesting, but may God continue to give clarity in these spiritual matters. God bless.